And action. All right. So a lot of people talk about wanting to use their ramp on a trailer for a screen porch or a patio or whatever. So I got a few tools here. Let's see if I can make something happen. So we're up here at the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And if you were to be able to see through the trees to that bright clearing there, there's a campsite over there. On the other side of that is Lake Superior. So we are probably 300 feet away from the waters of Lake Superior right now, kind of in the Brimley area basically, but we're at a state forest campground here. But anyways, um, so obviously you can build this in multitude different ways. I see a lot of people doing stuff like where they're snapping fingers on like videos, and I think that'd be pretty easy. So I'm not, that didn't work. Good. Close to the close to the microphone. No, hammer, hammer, hammer the bolts, maybe. Throw it up. That's it. Like and subscribe. Okay, so obviously that wasn't quite that easy, but let me show you what we do. So starting off with the trailer unlocked, we take our locks, hook them on the outside of the locking bars. That gets them out of the way. And then for starters, we need to be able to brace this up to hold it up off the ground. I'm in the middle of the forest. Um, only I had something. It's like I could almost like reach out and grab something. Right there it is. Okay, so I've got a piece of 2x that I've drilled a couple holes, and that perfectly lines up with the solid piece on the locking hasp on the bottom of the ramp. And so after about 3 years of me and the wife being like, oh, does this side go to that side or that side? We wrote driver's side on one side. So I use these bolts. Okay, so I take these bolts, some large washers, and a couple nuts. I place it onto those locking locations. The bolt up through the hole in the wood, and then spin the nut down. My wife and I normally race doing this. I normally win. So that's the first one. Flip that to the side, drop the washer down there, spin the nut down. It only needs to be hand tight. It's not really going anywhere. It's a little bit loose. It doesn't matter. We're going to block this up off the ground, and then the bracing that's inside this door is going to help to transfer the weight from anyone on this ramp onto this beam. This is really just kind of 2 points being connected. You know, we could actually just have like some flip down legs, or we could do something else here. This was pretty easy for us, so this is what we did. So anyways, once we've done that, then I'll drop the ramp door. And this is how we travel with the screen porch walls. They're already built. They're 3 walls and 1 ceiling piece, and we set them in there, lean them off to the side, and we travel with them just like that. They don't go anywhere. So right now this is angled down pretty low, so I'm going to grab a couple scraps of wood to find out how much I need to space under there to level this off. And then basically what I'm going to do is I'll just lift this side here. I'll stack some wood underneath there. And then eyeball down the ramp to the bottom corner of the trailer to find out if this platform is basically level. It's camping, so it doesn't have to be perfectly level, but you do need to be in frame to make a video worth watching, maybe. So I'm just taking some blocks of wood, various different size pieces. Some are bigger, some are smaller, until we shim it up to where it's level. So pro tip. I made fun of a guy about this later, and I've since used it a little bit myself. you're trying to level this, if you're trying to level your camper or whatever, don't use this for a building. Don't use this in construction too much. At the search bar, there's a measurement tool. There's also a level. You can set it down. Maybe you can see that. There's little bubbles. That's perfectly level. I got super lucky. That's the magic of video. But I just got super lucky. So anyways, we just lift this up. A couple different pieces of wood until it's flat. And now we have a platform. So that beam is about in the middle. This trailer is a 6 by 14, 6.5 tall. So that makes this ramp around 6.5 feet tall, a little bit under. But so that beam's right here in the middle. And generally it's 2 or 3 people sitting out here. So I don't worry about trying to brace out to the very top end of this ramp because of the fact that we're not really sitting there. If we're sitting out here for with a couple chairs or whatever, we probably have chairs somewhere in the middle. And if the weight does get past that beam right there, it's not that big of a deal. But generally we try to stay seated over the beam, and it's pretty solid. Then the rest of the trailer already has its stabilizer jacks in place. Okay, so I've got this one here is the back wall. The back wall and the ceiling in this case is both the same size. And then these 2 longer ones are for the sides. So I'm gonna just do this real time and show you how easily this comes out. And I'll lean these out to the side. That one's gonna come back in here in a minute. This one here is the roof section. And we got trees in the way for us a little bit to make it a little bit more difficult. I'm just going to place that up on top of my solar panels gently. And then we've got the wall sections. Who put that pine tree there? So these wall sections, the whole screen porch material is made out of a lightweight cedar. It's essentially 3/4 inch by 1.5 inches. And then it goes between my tail light and the safety cable here, the cable assist, and it's resting down on the weather lip of the door here. So it's setting on there. It's currently setting on the steel of it's setting on the weather strip of the steel lip of the door. So there's one setting there. Amy, would you hand me that screw gun and the screws on the wheel well? So I'll slide that back out so you can see. So right now it's going to be kind of temporarily captured by the safety cable or the retention cable here, and then the brake light. And then I've got a weather strip I added above the door here to so through the magic of television, we accidentally turned the video off right there, or somewhere around here. But anyway, so we've got the one wall panel up. You can see there's this orange paracord that's tied off to that locking bar. And so we just have a screw that we back out just a little bit, enough to catch a piece of paracord, tie that off kind of on a tightening slip knot type of thing. And that holds that wall panel back to the trailer. Same thing's been done on this side, that holds that back. And you can see here a little bit easier. So the lip that the door seals up against the trailer with it in the down position, you've got that weather stripping there. It's metal underneath. And so the screen panel is just simply setting on there. There's no attachment from the wall to the bottom, to the trailer door itself at all. So We just lift this one in place. And each one of these panels, they probably weigh like 5 pounds because of the lightweight cedar that I used. And then I used a aluminum spindle to try to keep our butt heads from being able to claw their way out if they get motivated by some type of wildlife. But again, just a screw top, middle, bottom, and that holds it all in. Can't see where this one's going. Probably about there. This one missed just a little bit. So as soon as I get opportunity, these wall panels are going to get completely redone. They've been used for probably 4.5 years, I think. And they are definitely showing their signs of use and abuse. And so we'll be rebuilding those here pretty soon. May do a video on kind of how I built them in the shop there at the house, but each one's going to be specific to the size trailer and ramp door that you have. So can't necessarily copy my measurements anyways. I had it right the first time. So the ceiling goes on. Again, with version 2 of this is going to be made just a little bit different, because since making version 1, we added some lights, we've changed a few things get in the way, but it still pretty much keeps all the bugs out. So Amy, you tell me and the audience at home, do you like your screen porch when you go camping? You have the microphone over here, so you're gonna have to like, can you give a thumbs up in front of the video? Don't fall on the chairs. If only we had a second camera recording that. So if she gives it a thumbs up, you got to give it a thumbs up too, because I think that's what you're supposed to do on videos, right? The whole like and subscribe thing. So aside from decorating it with chairs and fall decor or whatever else, and there's a different board that needs to be built for there as well. That's it. That's a screen porch. It's a 4-inch spacing on here to keep our dogs in. We now have smaller dogs than what were originally built for this, so we're going to be making it a little bit smaller. But it's screen on all walls and ceiling. You know, we can be out and look straight up at the stars, and there's, aside from just the screen mesh, there's nothing blocking our view. We've got various different hooks in a couple different places on here to, you know, we'll hang we've got a collapsible shoe rack that will hang off of these, get those out of the trailer. Sometimes put a laundry hamper out here, dog beds, chairs, whatever. But this extends our 6x14 cargo trailer by another 6.5 feet. So, you know, adds so much room for activities. Like and subscribe. Wait. There's more. My wife brought up a great point. Because we have dogs, and they have been known to be butt heads at times, we got some little privacy panels. It's just kind of like a mesh, somewhat a little bit see-through, maybe a little bit of air comes through it. What's that? It's for a balcony. If you search on Amazon, which is where we did, It's labeled like a balcony privacy panel, and it's meant to kind of close off railing for a balcony, I guess. Um, so we put those, there's some already existing screws there. We just screw that around on the four corners and or three corners or three walls or whatever you want to call it. So we just place those around there. It takes two to be able to cover around here all the way, but then we'll screw that off top and bottom, kind of at the ends, make it a little bit tight, and that keeps our dogs from being able to peek out, be too nosy, and see a neighbor dog and bark at it or whatever. And then it also gives us a little bit of privacy if we've got dirty laundry, tennis shoes, and dog beds on the floor out here. Kind of gives a little bit of privacy to where people don't just see your junk sitting out here. Is that it? That's it. Like and subscribe.